Hey, I'm Thundercloud. Here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, washing away the garbage, leaving rainbows after rains. Everybody knows Mum calls me James. Let's have some fun and linguistic games here on Chillin Tuesday. Let's just chill, sit back, relax. And I'm going to take you on a poetry journey tonight, here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame on this 19th of July. It's my little friend Julius. Julius the Flying Giraffe. You'll hear a bit more about him later on tonight. But first, let's begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I broadcast from, the Kamilaroi and the Banbai people here in Guyra, and the continuing connection to the land of the elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge that sovereignty has never been ceded. On that note, let's move on, and I'm going to start with Noongar poet Alf Taylor, who I've been covering recently for the last couple of weeks here at on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. And I'm just going to be reading some of these random stuff tonight. So this is from the book Rimfire, Poetry from Aboriginal Australia by Magabala Books in Broome, published in 1995. Well, actually, this collection was published in 2000. The poems are selected in this book from Romain Walton, Alf Taylor and Michael J. Smith, so they were all published in different years. Alf stuff here comes from 1992, so this is Noongar man Alf Taylor from 1992. Let's start with this random one. Words. The embers of their young hearts silently glowed. The smile on their faces clearly showed. The old fella told the children of long time ago. The children listen intently, of gasping on every word, grasping on every word. Dare not to make a sound as the words gently flow around and around. My mind. In my mind I see gold and diamonds surround me, standing around a shroud or floating on a cloud. My mind is my travel agency. It takes me to any place I fancy. It makes me write fancy verse or lets me explore the universe. I really appreciate my mind. When my body's in a bind, with it I can become king, or with my voice of honey I can sing. My mind is so free I can be what I want to be. No obstacle too strong, no road is too long. In my mind I can do no wrong. Or when I feel like tossing it in, it makes me fight like hell to win. It tells me I'm just me. It always brings me back to reality. King of the Kimberley. A lack of understanding that goes on today, complete ignorance in society, I would say. Aboriginal culture has to be taught in schools today. We were always told of Captain Cook sailing on his merry way. Even Ned Kelly in a conversation always held sway. Why not talk about Pigeon in his feats of bold, about always leaving the troopers standing in the cold? Soldier, Pigeon. Soldier of fortune, soldier of fame, soldier of the highest regard, soldier pigeon who rode the Kimberley Range. The trip. Lifting the bottle to his parched lips, the revolting liquid his hungry throat did not want to miss. With a grunt and groan into an empty well, the dirty brown liquid fell like a stone. The warmth in his blood started to flow, eyes glazed, words became slow. Floating into universe, warm sun explodes into a cascade of brilliance of flowing fun. Where did I go wrong? He gently weeps, resting his head on the evening star as he goes into a blissful sleep. So that's from the book Rimfire, and that was the poetry of Alf Taylor. I've got a bit more Alf Taylor here now for you. And I've been reading out of this book last week, Winds, which is also published by Magabala Books, and this one was published in 1994. And as far as I'm aware, Alf Taylor is still alive and kicking. The didgeridoo, the mournful cry of a didgeridoo telling me it's not over, get up and try something new. Stories you've heard from the past, keep them close to your heart, share them with something new. That's the mournful cry I hear from the didgeridoo. Again. The didgeridoo, the mournful cry of a didgeridoo, telling me it's not over, get up and try something new. Stories you've heard from the past, keep them close to your heart, share them with someone new. That's the mournful cry I hear from the didgeridoo. Waiting on trains, waiting on planes, waiting on cars, just sitting, waiting, watching the clock tick by. It's telling me again I've got to say goodbye again and again. How I feel this pain of just saying goodbye. Is it forever just saying goodbye again and again? All right. Well, that's the poetry of Alf Taylor. I'm going to move on now to something a bit more contemporary. Well, not that that's not contemporary because Alf's still there, but that's from 1992, so that's 30 years ago. Now, I've got 2 volumes here of the Australian Poetry Journal, and I'm going to be reading some random stuff out of that. Now, this one hasn't even been opened, so this is from volume 4, issue 2 of the Australian Poetry Journal, and I'm just going to go in here randomly and see if I can see anyone's names I know. Yeah. Anyway, maybe not. Oh, Jeff Page. I'm going to try this one. I'm going to 86. This is The Quick Brown Fox by John Carey. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. is a found poem of sorts in a lyric metre, fit for a Tyrolean walking song, and of course an efficient pangram with few repetitions and no strain on the syntax. It's also a popular success without peer better known than any line of Yeats, Alston, or even the Bard. As a child, I traced it on a slate till my fingers stiffened, and it filled the nightmares of millions of blindfolded typists. Like any other masterpiece, it was penned by A. Anonymous, or UN Certain, though many names have been whispered from Albert the Prince consort to Ho Chi Minh. More likely, it was some brisk entrepreneur of the pre-post-industrial age like a pitman of shorthand fame, or one of his clerks, in a false collar and an eye shade. Or perhaps there's truth in the Stalinist claim that a Cyrillic version evolved from the struggles of the dactylographic collective of downtown Tbilisi. We are learning again to shrink from romantic excess and see the poetic I as pre-Raphaelite self-pleasurer, or at very least a florid North American in a bow tie. So let us pause to honour the authors of The Quick Brown Fox, etc. Luckily, it wasn't mauled by some brutalist editor who liked to strip out articles and adjectives till it sounded like the name of a Navajo chief. So there you go. Here's another one by Ron Pretty, Wind Under the Door, from the Australian Poetry Journal, Volume 4, Issue 2. Ron Pretty, Wind Under the Door, in memory of Ken Taylor. It's too strong, the wind, it has blown him away out of the treehouse. In the sweet acorn down from the hillside, the fallen trees, the logs naked on the ground, red soil and clover out of the arms of Sarah, who loved him all the bare wooden walls, winter fogs and upswaying daffodils, blue flash of bower mail, lorikeets winging the rainbow, all this and more she loved him, his charcoal love on her paper, breast and buttock and dark-rimmed eyes. On leaving, she took his soul to Ireland in a shell. A shell remained on the mountain, shocked at the entropy he saw. In morning mirrors only the wash of memory, wind under the door, the elusive perfume it wrought. The lines he had written for her, reading them over, dreaming, the winter nights how he missed her. Words flowing in paint despite the cold bed, empty kitchen, the search for breath missing, but the wind swaying the stolid accords. He knew the wind pushing the door. He knew the night it came to chill his heart. All right. And another one from another Australian Poetry Journal, Volume 5, Issue 2. This would be published in 2015. It's copyright, this one. And we'll just randomly select some poetry out of here. I'll see if there's any names that I can recognise. Jeff Page again. Okay, we'll just do random poetry 24. Here we go. This is Ken Chow. Things Wong Kar Wai taught me about love, part 3 for Chloe. The accordion is not a very sexy instrument, but I like the sounds it makes. You can get anyone's phone number if you really try. To improve my love life, I might take up smoking one day. A sofa is too small for 2 people to sleep on. Disinfecting the bed on sunny days is preferable to rainy days. I'd rather have you in bed with me than fleas. If it's too cold to walk together over a bridge, it's best to turn around and go home. A bare-tiled kitchen can be as romantic as a dance floor. Food like love that you don't have to pay for always tastes better. Being head-butted by your beloved is a bad omen for your relationship. Being drunk is not ideal when you're trying to sort out your relationship problems. Having to greet people cheerfully as a doorman is not the best job to have when your heart is bankrupt, even if you need the money. Let's start over is another way of saying, I love you. So there you go. That's a little bit of poetry for you. From the Australian Poetry Journal, Volume 5, Issue 2. Now, tonight, I got a bit of my own poetry that I'm going to read to you that I've written this week. And I don't know. I'm going to get some poetry for you. But first, before we do any of that stuff, let me sing a song for you. Now, this one here, I tried to do it the other night. I didn't do a good job, but I've been practicing it. It's Purple Rain in the style of Ali Campbell. Alright, here we go. Chillin, Tuesday, poetry and karaoke. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted to see you one time laughing. I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain, purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. I only wanted to see you laughing in the purple rain. I never wanted to be a wicked lover. I only wanted to be some kind of friend. Baby, I could never steal from another. Ooh, it's such a shame. Our friendship had to end. purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Yeah, because I only want to see you laugh. I only want to see you laying in the purple rain. Honey, I know sometimes it changes. Reach out for something new that means me and you too. Oh, you say you want to lead her, but you can't make up your mind. Let me guide you to the purple rain, purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Yeah. Oh, I see you laugh, see you laugh. Oh, yeah. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Only one is to laugh again. Okay. And that's it. That's it for karaoke here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, because this is, after all, a poetcast. Poetcast, like a podcast, but with poetry or with a poet. It could be a poem cast, but it doesn't like roll off the tongue. Poemcast. You've got to like pause it. It's a poetcast. That works. Podcast. Anyway, right. So the next thing I got for you is a little bit of new poetry. Now, happiness, where does it come from? Well hang on, let's rewind backwards to Purple Rain. I only want to see you laugh, but it's not my job, because you can only find happiness inside you, not outside. So this is a little quatrain I wrote today. Looking for happiness in all the wrong places, relief from craving and approval in other people's faces. If you look outside, your search will be eternal. Happiness is a decision that's internal, not external. Yeah, so there you go. All right, the next one is about a ship. Because life can be like a ship, couldn't it? Every ship's got a destiny. A ship, it's called. A ship without a destiny is drifting, floating, free. A man without a goal has nowhere else to be. A ship without a destiny is pointless, kind of dumb. I'm asking, what's your purpose? What is it you'll become? You are your mum's creation here on this earth. What's the next port that your ship will berth? Sailing on the ocean to your next port of call. How many goals will you kick? Or will you drop the ball? Yeah. What's your purpose in life, hey? Because if you... don't say you're too old. No one's ever too old to start a new goal, a new purpose, take up art, go and start a new business, whatever. Oh, okay, here's a funny one. What about the drop bears, eh? Well, this is about a drop bear called Donald. Okay. Well, you know about sheep, don't you? Most sheep have their tails docked. It means cut off, or whatever they do with it, however they do that. Why? Because so that they don't get fly strike and they get flies in their bum. Yeah. Right, this is called Donald Drop Bear. But Little Bo Peep's tails, because they weren't docked, because they were wagging their tails behind me. Little Bo Peep's lost a sheep and doesn't know where to find them, leave them alone, and they will come home wagging their tails behind them. I don't know. Funny sheep. Donald Drop Bear. Donald Drop Bear! Hang on. Get into costume here. Get into... Right. Drop Bear. Persona. Donald Drop Bear had raggedy hair he dropped out of trees, giving tourists a scare if they ventured onto his territory, which is fair, then dragged them away to his Drop Bear lair. It was tourists that Donald Drop Bear liked to eat, the soft, juicy, tender kind that was his favourite treat. Hang them for a month to tenderise the meat and start with the eyeballs and finish with the feet. One day, Donna Drop Bear gave Donald a dare to bring a bodybuilder back to hang in the lair. So he went and caught two, a bodybuilding pair, and hung them in the lair, a cave with dry air. After 4 weeks, they both had to wait for the bodybuilder's meat to be tender and taste great. For dinner that night, it's what they both ate, then they climbed up a gum tree to both hibernate. Along came a tourist just before they fell asleep. Donald Drop Bear got a whiff and did a leap, landed on a shepherd named Little Bo Peep, and was suddenly surrounded by Bo Peep's sheep. Well, this is where Donald Drop Bear's story failed. He was whacked by Bo Peep's sheep with all their tails. Donald Drop Bear was locked in a zoo. Yes, jailed. Donna came to court the next day and he was bailed. Donald Drop Bear had neatly combed hair, wore a suit like a CEO going somewhere, took a barrister to court with a wig of grey hair, was acquitted because the witness couldn't be found anywhere. Well, Donald Drop Bear arrived back at home. Donald Drop Bear said, "I've saved you a bone of Little Bo Peep who was walking all alone. I dropped from a tree and caught her all on my own." Bo Peep was what they ate for dinner that night. Donald said to Donna, "This shepherd girl tastes all right. You didn't even hang the meat. It's a delight." They climbed up a gum tree to hibernate that night. They both slept well, full of Little Bo Peep, awoke in the morning after having a good sleep. When a tourist came along, Donald did a leap, brought the tourist back to the lair to hang and keep. Donald Drop Bear had raggedy hair dropped out of trees, giving tourists a scare if they ventured on his territory, which is fair, then drag him away to his Drop Bear lair. Donald Drop Bear. Now, the other day, this meme came up. It's a quote from Edgar Allan Poe, which goes like this: "Poetry is the rhythmical creation of beauty in words." What do you think? Poetry is the rhythmical creation of beauty in words. Oh, I like that. It's not. Poetry is more than that. But, here we go. Vomiting feelings on paper or screen is the worst kind of poetry. You know what I mean. But put in some effort to craft with heart. The best kind of poetry is rhymed, metered, and art. True. Just for your vomiting feelings on paper or screen is the worst kind of poetry. You know what I mean. But put in some effort to craft with heart. The best kind of poetry is rhymed, metered, and art. There you go. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Excuse me. This one is about two seahorses. a happy one and a sad one. Because, like, I just like to write about animals because then no one can say, oh, you wrote about me. No, I didn't. I wrote about animals. And then I often contrast things within my poetry, one way and one the other way. So, take from my poetry what you will. This is two seahorse. A seahorse was swimming and feeling quite glad when it met another seahorse, but this one was sad, so the glad one invited the sad one to stay his pad. The sad seahorse was in fact a little bit mad. The sad seahorse sat around with sad things to say. The glad seahorse would chase goals and dreams every day, living life, creating in spontaneous action and play. But at the end of the day, they both went their own way. The glad seahorse thought that it was being kind, but life's exactly what you make it in your mind. One seahorse saw opportunities while the other was blind. It often takes a crisis to get you out of a bind. The sad seahorse would complain because it couldn't fly. The glad seahorse accepted it and didn't even try. Regretful and resentful, the sad seahorse would cry. The glad seahorse laughed daily until the day it died. The glad seahorse lived in a cheery kind of locus. How beautiful the world was its major focus, and never watched the news or that kind of hocus pocus, and focused on the positives and telling lots of jokers. Yeah, because jokes are funny, and they don't even have to be rude to be funny. Like, it's really time consuming eating a clock. I can see myself cleaning mirrors. And the moon is boring because it's got no atmosphere. I became an atmosphere that I'm a little claustrophobic and I needed a lot of space. I know all 25 letters of the alphabet, but I don't know why. I can't find my camouflage clothes. What kind of music do windmills like? Probably metal fans. I had a vacuum, it was collecting dust, so I sold it. I saw two snails slugging it out slowly. I lost my job at the calendar factory for taking a month off. Reality is a very hard tea to swallow. And I don't know about you, but the earth spinning makes my day. I'd tell you about a joke about perforated paper. It's terrible. I had a hiccup, but sold it to a hillbilly to drink from. A snowman had a bag of carrots and was picking his nose. When toilet paper rolls downhill, it only wants to get to the bottom. I bought these shoes from a drug dealer. I've been tripping all day. I don't know what he laced them with. Two wolves met at the corner. Cyclops opened a school, but it had to close because he only had one pupil. See? It doesn't have to be rude. Now, what else have I got for you? Well, why don't elephants hide in trees? Because they're no good at it. So there. Language and concept warning. No. I'm not going to do this one because we can wait till tomorrow, Wednesday words, when we have a language and concept warning. What I am going to do is maybe getting a costume and find one final poem for you, and we'll also find a bit of I've got the poem. I know what poem I'm going to do for you. I'm going to do my friend here, Julius the Flying Giraffe. So the first thing to do is to find my hip hop instrumentals and purple rain, okay.
This is Webflow Interactions.
Now, while we're waiting,
Visual canvas. Easily create scroll-based parallax animation.
I'm just going to put on my giraffe outfit. Here we go. Now, I'm a giraffe. I'll probably be better with a baboon outfit. Here we go. Now, the music to accompany this is a hip-hop track from Syndrome called Chill Smooth Guitar Rap Beat 2018. Let's get ready. Julius the Flying Giraffe. Julius Giraffe was often found trying to lift himself up off the ground because Julius Giraffe had a dream of flying. He never gave up hope or gave up trying. Julius Giraffe wanted to fly, so he plotted, planned, calculated, applied, but no matter how much he flapped his legs around, Julius Giraffe never got off the ground. Well, Julius Giraffe decided to see if he'd fly like a bird if he jumped from a tree, but Julius Giraffe wasn't a go. His chance of climbing a tree was quite remote. The baboon yelled out, "Julius, giraffes can't fly, no matter how much you try and you try." Julius Giraffe, you're tall and you're grand, you can see far and wide across this here land. Your skinny giraffe legs weren't built for flying. Give up on your dream before you die trying. Well, Julius Giraffe wasn't looking out. Didn't see the poachers lurking about. Well, next thing he knew, Julius woke up in a cage on the back of a poacher's truck. Well, he cried for his family and the baboon and the rain on the plain. During the monsoon, he was stolen from Africa, taken away, put in an aeroplane, he flew that day. The moral of the story, get this, be very discerning for what you wish, for the plane suffered engine failure, went into a dive. The pilot bailed out, he wanted to stay alive. Well, Julius the Giraffe was in luck and found the last parachute. Well, he wingsuited down while he flew through the air. Blinded with birds, he did a loop-the-loop, but his voice was heard yelling, "I'm a flying giraffe! I'm in the sky! Fantastic, amazing, I'm a giraffe who can fly!" I can fly! Well, he landed beside the baboon, the tree. Well, I didn't give up hope on my dream. I flew free. Well, it was unexpected. I didn't have to try. I never gave up hope. I got to fly because I never gave up on my hopes or my dreams. They came true in the most unexpected way, it seemed. I'm a flying giraffe. I didn't die. My dreams came true and I flew in the sky, said Julius the Flying Giraffe. He flew through the air, glided with birds, he did a loop, and his voice was heard. I'm a flying giraffe! I'm in the sky! Fantastic, amazing, I'm a giraffe who can fly! It was unexpected, I didn't have to try, I never gave up hope, and I got to fly because I never gave up. My hopes, my dreams, they came true in the most unexpected way it seems. I'm a flying giraffe. I didn't die. My dreams all came true and I flew in the sky. I can fly! Said Julius the Flying Giraffe. And that's it. Here at the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, Wednesday Words. Be ready for tomorrow night. That's tomorrow night. And tonight, Chillin Tuesday here. I got my onesies on, so I'm going to be nice and warm. And that's it. Now, if you like that, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and tell everyone about the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Coming up here, we've got on the 30th of July, we've got Vanuatu Independence Day, which will be lots of songs and dances and singing and all kinds of stuff and food. And that's it. And Wednesday Words, and every Saturday morning there's a market here as well. And Chillin Tuesday is over. Thundercloud, wash away the garbage, living rainbows after rains. Everybody knows, yeah, Mum calls me. James Arthur Warren, what are you up to? Nothing, Mum. Boom. See you later.